I wrote that and now it happened. I think it's very cool to see in a few months or in a few years how things evolved for you, how things happened for you, and how quickly it can be, and how effortless. Duh. Hello and welcome back to this new video of mine. Today I want to talk about how everything I wrote down came true. And I'm going to tell you how and why and success stories and everything. I made some notes. What would this video be without some proper notes, right? We will be talking about the topic of journaling today. So what is journaling? How is it working? And I'm going to show you, or I'm going to explain to you, a method that worked wonders for me. This is the technique that I manifested money, all my relationships basically, and also my apartments with. I want to start with a little story time. It's really just a quick short one. So before I came into my first relationship, I was writing down what I want to have in a relationship, like what type of person I want to be with, and I was actually writing one special scenario of a perfect date we would have. I wrote down that we would have like a perfect day at the lake and just sit there, relax, see the sun go down, and just have the most beautiful date ever. I reread my journaling book months later when I was already in my relationship, and I reread that part and I was so in shock because it turned out that I actually came together with my boyfriend back then at a lake. We were sitting there, we were seeing the sunset, everything. So it was basically to a T what I wrote down as my perfect date was the spot where him and I got together. I mean, that didn't work out, but still we got together there. Also, when it came to him, like as a person, he was very much showing up as that person that I described him as. That was when I started really believing more in that technique and that it works for me. I'm going to tell you more about that now. First, of course, you have to get a journal and a pen. And what is important to say here, for me at least, is that it is something that sparks emotion to you, that it is something that makes you feel good, that is special to you. You really get something that is aesthetically pleasing, that you feel connected to. If you don't feel connected to it, there's no actual point in getting it, because this is supposed to write down your entire life. See it as your life testament before it happened. This is going to be that journal, and you don't want that journal to be an old crappy one. Of course it can be. It would be nice if it would be one thing that's sparking emotion in you. Same with the pen. So what I actually mean by this is what brings us to point 2 now, is that you sort of make it like a ritual of making it your magic journal and your magic pen. So it is not just a regular pen, it is not just a regular journal. You can affirm that this pen is going to write down the future that you want, that this pen is going to create the words and the life you dream of. So that's what I did, and that's what worked for me. So every time I see that pen, every time I write something with that pen, I am aware that this is the pen that's gonna create magic. I sort of create magic with my words in that instance. And I know it sounds like hocus pocus, I know, but it's just to make me feel better. It's about sparking emotion. If you're curious about that entire manifesting process and why sparking emotions is actually so important, then please check out my podcast, because I also have a Manifesting 101 episode, and that's gonna explain to you everything you need to know about manifesting in the first place, just so that you have the basics and everything completely done. So you're gonna affirm that this pencil or this pen will write things into existence. That's the first thing that you want to do. And then the second thing you want to do is that you're gonna take the front page of your journal and you're actually gonna write in there. Wait, I wrote it down exactly, so I'm gonna look it up again. So how you're gonna write it is that you're gonna say, this is the journal of, and then you're gonna write your name because you want to make it personalized. And then everything I write in here becomes my reality, effortlessly and easily. So this is very important because, this is just powerful, because if you write it on the front page, like on the first page of the book, it sets off the entire energy, that entire vibration that this book is going to hold. Every time you open that journal, it makes you feel like there's literally magic in there. And also affirming everything you write down will become a reality effortlessly and easily. Especially those 2 words are very important for you, because you don't want it to be hard. You don't want it to take a million years. You know, you want it to be quick. You want it to be effortless. You want it to be there immediately in the best scenario. You're going to write your first entry. So what is this entry actually going to look like? Either on the top left or top right corner, you put the date of the day you're writing this. Because if you look back at it in a few years, you actually want to see it as, wow, I wrote that and now it happened. You know, I think it's very cool to see, like, I don't know, in a few months or in a few years, how things evolved for you, how things happened for you, and how quickly it can be, and how effortless. Duh. I think that's very interesting, and that's why I just do it for myself. And then you're gonna start writing that letter by saying, Dear Universe. Basically, it is a letter to the universe. That's how I write it. And then I write, I am so grateful for. And then you're gonna state things that you want in your life. So you're gonna write them in present tense as if you already have them. This is the key point here, because you're then living and visualizing your manifestation already while writing it down. It is like you're just showing appreciation, and you're writing your journal entry as sort of like a daily diary, as if it already happened. You're like, oh my god, I had such a great day and so many great things happened for me, and I'm so grateful for my car, and I'm so grateful for my house, and blah 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 blah. This is what you're gonna write down, and this is what's gonna manifest. I'm gonna tell you why it's so powerful in a second, but first we want to get the step by step. I want to say here how important it is that you make it detailed, and it is very important that you make it detailed, just because the more details it has, the more you feel like it is already coming to you, the more you feel like it is already happening, because you are already having all the details and all the ingredients basically to that magic sauce you need. Wow, that was such a weird sentence. Never mind. The key of making it detailed is that you feel something. And as we already said before, emotions are what triggers a manifestation. Emotions are what is actually very, very important for manifesting. You want to feel great. You want to feel good, right? Like, you want to feel amazing writing that down. If you do not feel amazing writing all of this, then maybe it is not for you. I already said that in my podcast episode about this topic. Maybe you have to rewire your brain for success. Maybe you have to change your limiting beliefs. Maybe you have to change something about the way you see things. Or maybe you have to accept the fact that this is maybe not what sparks joy in you. And then you have to find something else that does. This is where another journaling technique actually is very beneficial. I'm going to also talk to you about that in a second. So please don't quit this video right now, because we're getting into the juicy details. Also, another point, feel free to make it creative. Feel free to make it your magic journal. If you're a creative person, feel free to make doodles, or if you're manifesting a specific person especially, like draw some hearts. Everything that if you open that page, you feel the emotion coming through the page already. Or like some phrases or some key words that are very important. You can underline them, you can circle them. Doesn't matter. Just make it appealing to you. Highlight things that are important to you. And you can also add, like, for example, your iconic signature, something that is telling yourself that, wow, I did that. Like, I wrote that down. Something that makes it personal, because your life is unique. Your journal should be unique. What you write in there should be unique. Everything you do should be what you do for you. This is a ceremony and a ritual that you only do for you and for no one else. So make this fun. Make this a fun and creative exercise. What I, for example, did is that I created my own sort of journal when I first got one. So it was just a basic black one. I'm visualizing it in front of me right now. So I put like visual with a quote on there. And then I did golden effects and everything. So everything I thought was aesthetic back then, I put on there, and I made it my own journal. And if I compare it to another journal that I bought like randomly, basically everyone could have it, right? Like, I didn't make it personalized to me, and that didn't feel so good. It didn't feel like it was as effective. And I mean, of course it is, but like, I think it's better if you make it more your own, whatever works for you. But this was my key trick of actually making things happen for me. The next step is to let it go. Like I always say, I always preach it basically, but just know that it is already on the way. Just know that you wrote it down there, you put it out in the universe, and it is on the way. And what you then have to do is take action. See the signs that your manifestation is on the way, and walk through those opening doors. And maybe sometimes the doors are still closed, but sometimes you have to have faith and walk through them, right? Like, you have to try some things, they don't work, then you fail, and you have to stand up again. But that is the part of life where you really have to take action. I think 2 videos ago, I talked about a manifestation technique of writing 5 things down. Like, I can also link that video somewhere up here. That was different because that was more like small things, and it was like looking for signs, sort of. And so signs in that instance are coming to you. If you want to have a job, you also need to apply for it. Usually, of course not always, but like in the main case, you have to apply for a job. So you cannot always expect things to always flow to you. You also need to take action, and you also need to be ready to take some leaps. What this all comes down to is having faith and trust that things are working out for you, and that you hold the creative power, that you are in control of your reality. This also means that it ties in with letting go, having that trust, having that faith that things will happen for you, because then it's easier for you to let what you wrote down in your journal just sit on the side and be like, okay, I wrote down, I have faith, and now I'm going to take inspired action, and everything I want will happen to me naturally and like at divine timing. Yeah, you have to see the divine in you. You have to see that things are working out for you always. The more you affirm it, the more it will happen. Write down positive affirmations with every single journal entry. If I round it up right now, you're going to write one scenario of your ideal life. What you can also do is, for example, write a to-do list of your dream version of yourself. What would the dream version of yourself do right now? What would the day-to-day look like for your dream self? Having that like story playing in your head, having that visual, because it comes down to visualizing, it is a form of visualization. It is so important. It's just so important. I cannot stress it enough. And you don't have to be a great poet. You don't have to be great at writing. You just have to be true to yourself. You have to be true to what really makes you feel amazing. It is not about anyone else. This is your journal. Yeah, make this fun. Make this your self-care moment. Light a candle, turn on some high vibrational music. You can do so many things that make you feel even more relaxed. The most effective my journal entries were when I actually forgot about them. When I really forgot that I wrote them down. And I think that's why sometimes manifestation takes longer, because you sometimes need some time to detach from your dreams. And you have to take some time to detach from your vision that you have. And it's not to say that you should completely forget it, but taking action steps and just trusting is also a very important part of this. And it ties into actually forgetting that you wrote this down. It is all connected in some type of way. So what I also said before is that there are many ways of actually visualizing, of journaling. So I already told you can also do a to-do list. Just the gratitude type of thing was very effective for me. But what you can also do is journal down your current state, journal down your emotions and your thoughts. That is more to identify limiting beliefs. We will talk about that more soon, because limiting beliefs are very crucial of actually getting rid of if you want to manifest. First up, you're writing it in present tense, which means you're embodying that version of you. You are sending out the vibration of already having it. It also comes down to quantum leaping, which I also have to talk about, I guess, that you're embodying that energy of the person you want to already become. Right? You're embodying that energy, you basically are already that person. And everything that has to be going on then is just the outer reality of yours to shift. Your outer reality has to shift, but that can only happen when you are already changing and shifting. And journaling is shifting your energy, is shifting your vibration, is shifting your emotions, is shifting your entire state to a new entire realm. Not realm, how do I say? To another dimension? Let's move on to the next point. So also you're expressing gratitude, and gratitude comes down to emotions. Emotions have a high frequency depending on what type of emotion. So hate and fear are very low vibrational. So from that instance, you're not going to manifest much. But if you're wanting to manifest a lot, like love, gratitude, all those things that are very positive are drawing in more of the things you want. You're like a magnet. You're becoming a magnet to the things you want to attract. And therefore also drawing hearts when manifesting your specific person is all connecting your brain to feeling positive, feeling love. If you see a heart, you think of love immediately. Yeah, just making it more visual is making it easier for your brain to feel like you're already in that mindset and you're feeling already those emotions. Lastly is what we also already talked about, is that you visualize it. You see it in front of you. You really see it happening. You believe that it can happen, otherwise you would not think of it. Otherwise you would not see it for yourself. If you can see it, there is a version of you that already has everything you want. Visualizing is just the most important part, because it connects your emotions, it connects your thoughts, it connects your beliefs, everything at once. Visualization and journaling are tied together. If you write it, you're seeing it. It's the same if you're reading a book. If you're reading a fictional book, you're probably imagining all the characters, all the places where they are going. You see it. You see it as a movie in your head, and basically you're writing your own movie, the movie of your life, in your journal. That's all I have to say to that for today. Make sure to subscribe to this channel, that we reach more people with this, because I think this is a very important message that a lot of people should hear. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. I'm so grateful and thankful that you're here, and I will see you next week. Have a blissful day. Bye.